So we're going to be parked here for a while, for a couple of weeks and months, talking about the Five Remembrances. And for those of you that haven't met me, if it's your first time here, my name is Fabiola. And here at the Daily Sit, we talk about how the Dharma and certain teachings from Dharma, the Buddha's teachings on mindfulness can help us live in more skillful, compassionate ways. And so the topic for these next months is the Five Remembrances. And those are five teachings that the Buddha offered everyone who heard him. And he suggested that we think about them actually on a daily basis. Lay people, monks, just everybody. Now, as other teachers have said here, when I first heard them, they didn't sound like happy news exactly. There was like a flavor of doom and gloom. And in presenting to all of you, I thought, well, this is like the one topic that may be the hardest, right? We talk about loving kindness and other things, but the five remembrances may seem a little bit heavy. So for the last few days, I've been listening to them with a different mentality, thinking how they affect me at a personal level, why we may feel some aversion towards them, and why they're helpful. So today I want to offer to all of you um, my take on it, which is it helps to see them through the lens of the Bramaviharas. If we can look at the five remembrances through the lens of the Bramaviharas, they can help us see them as opportunities to grow and to deepen our practice. So I'm going to just mention each one of them and then offer a brief reflection and a twist that it can, a turn that it can take when we add some of the wisdom of the Brahmaviharans to them. So the first remembrance says, and there's many translations, but this is one: I am subject to aging. I have not gone beyond aging. Yes, we will all age. I think we know that since we're kids. It doesn't have to be bad news. I think in a world and in a culture that promotes youth, it tends to be seen as bad news. In a world that discriminates against old people, that has in some places lost the appreciation for our elders, it may be a problem. But I also want to say that this is not a problem for everyone. There are cultures and there are people who see being old as a gift of life, a gift that many are denied, that elders are the carriers of wisdom. So, in thinking about aging, rather than feeling afraid, we can just consider the nature of life and realize that with age comes wisdom, the wisdoms that can come from all the experiences that we've had. Now, I see people of all ages here, and I would like you to think about the elders in your life, whether they are still here or they are gone. A grandmother, a grandfather, a kind aunt, a mentor. Weren't they, some of them, sources of joy and love for you? And if we think about that, we can think that we can also one day, or maybe now, be a source of wisdom and comfort for others. So, this nature of being able to age can be seen as a gift, as a way in which we can also give back to others. So, we can meet aging with metta by wishing ourselves and others to have the kindness and the grace to meet aging with wisdom, and that we may take care of this body and this mind with wisdom and compassion. And this will connect with the last one because these are all connected, right? Can we find mudita in celebrating the joy in others, right? My dad is 85, my mom is 80. I'm spending a lot of time with them. And I love asking them about, what have you learned? What are your best memories? It's so it's so beautiful to do this and tender, right? I'm very aware that they will not be here forever, believe me. But I can celebrate for the things that they have learned, and I can see that it brings joy, even when they think about the bad things or the mistakes. it always ends up with, well, things come and go and we just learn from experience. Fabiola, don't let things, just shake you so much. So let's look at old age with care, with compassion, with mudita, and more importantly, perhaps with equanimity. Just knowing that this is the way it is. We're not going to escape it. Instead, let's see if aging is something that makes us clench. Just let's get curious. Good old mindfulness says, let's just get curious and see, there's some aversion. Why? And maybe dismantle the thoughts that are behind that so that we can see the beauty, the gift, the honor of being able to age, and also that we can take care of our own body and mind. And that is where the agency is, that is connected to the fifth remembrance, which is about karma and being heirs to our actions. But I'll get to that in a little bit. The second remembrance is related to illness. I am subject to illness. I have not gone beyond illness. Yes, we've all been sick since we've been babies. Many times we probably will get sick again while we're alive. That's just the way it is. Does it have to be a problem? Well, once again, sometimes, marketing and industries make it seem like it's a problem or that it's wrong, but it's just the way it is. Even our dear animal friends or pets get sick, right? So this is just part of conditionality of causes and conditions coming together. Can we be proactive and take better care of our health? Of course we can. There's no guarantee. I've met people who have been incredibly healthy and they have died at age 50 from something unexpected or from cancer or something that doesn't meet what science says. So there's a huge mystery to this. We can take care of our health, but not get arrogant about it or think we can totally control it or fall for the anti-aging, anti-life industry. Just accept. So how can we meet illness with metta? Well, we can wish each other healing and good health. May you experience good health. And when you're not experiencing good health, may you be met with kindness and compassion by yourself, by those around you, offering you some care. And if I am experiencing health and you're experiencing illness, may I be able to help you in some way. So, can we see this shared humanity and feel compassion for those that are sick, especially when we ourselves have been sick? We know how bad it can feel. So, it can actually make us more compassionate. Equanimity, yeah, we can. This is always the wisdom, right? That says, this is it. This is the way things are. We will have periods of illness and periods of health. How can we respond to this with more compassion and wisdom? And for each one of us, the answer may be a little bit different, but there's general guidelines that we know that promote health and well-being. So can we welcome mindful living into our life, mindful eating, mindful sleeping? Really, the practice of mindfulness is about realizing what's good for us, what's supportive. So the third remembrance has to do with death. I am subject to death. I will die. I think it's a truth that many of us encounter as kids when our pet dies or our grandpa or even bigger losses. It is one that becomes taboo in many places. People don't want to talk about death. People are afraid of death. As a therapist, I've had clients that come precisely because they want to work with their fear of death, anxiety of aging. And again, there are cultures and places where this is not exactly a problem. There are places when you die, they'll throw a party because you are now free. You are now going to reunite with loved ones. You are out of this nightmare, right? So it all depends on the thoughts that we have. So I invite you all to think about, what are your thoughts around death? And I'll share a little story here because I'm at my parents. Because of the storm in the north, I wasn't able to travel back home. So I stayed here in Florida. No complaints. It's warm and lovely here. And I was telling my dad I was preparing this talk. Now, my dad is Catholic and a quite devout Catholic. And he said, well, what are you talking about? And I said, well, this thing called the Five Remembrances that the Buddha taught. And um, it's about old age and sickness, death, change, and karma. And and he said, oh, that sounds really interesting. That sounds really interesting. And I just asked him, what do you think about death? And he said, oh, I'm ready to die, and death will be the beginning of what's next. Right. So that's his faith. And that's what he believes, that after this life, there's a better life that comes. Now, if we tend to be more secular or we're not sure about that, this may produce a little bit of anxiety. Right. I've had many friends in the Dharma circle. Some believe in reincarnation and other lives. I feel that I've heard that for them, it's a little bit easier to deal with death. But and I've gone through different periods of agnostic, believing, not believing. I know that when I've been doubting if there's anything beyond this life, this is the one that really gets me. I'm like, okay, so we live, there's all these things, and then we die. And what if there's nothing? But I solved that, and I'm sharing this in case there's some of you that are like more secular or agnostic here. And this was a Buddhist Lama, that was a Tibetan Buddhist Lama that believes in reincarnation, that I was talking to him about this. I said, but what if there's nothing? He said, at least you will die in peace, knowing that you did your best. Even if there's nothing, at the moment of death, you won't have all these regrets. So it's totally worth to consider that death will be the end, whether there's a beyond or not. Because how do you want to die? Think about that. When is your time to die? We can't control if it's going to be hurting or not, but your spirit, your ethical, your sense of who you were, don't we all want peace? And I thought, well, that is true. I'm kind of like the Woody Allen who says, I don't fear death. I just don't want to be there when it happens. Yeah. I've had an aversion to this topic too, but I thought, well, it is going to happen. And I do want to be in a state of peace. And I'm skipping the fourth one right now, but I'm bringing the fifth one because the fifth one says we are heir to our actions. And it is our actions. And as humans, we have a conscience. We know when we did good, we know when we did bad. We know. And so many people feel remorse after doing things that are bad and meaning they hurt others, right? And if you read books about death and dying, or talk to nurses, or maybe you yourself have accompanied people when they die, there's usually that in their heart, a longing for forgiveness, for saying sorry, for making peace with whatever wasn't done. So if we think about the weight of our actions and think about that in relationship to death, then we can say, well, let me be more mindful with my actions. Let me practice sila and ethics and compassion and loving kindness and just be the best version of myself and love as best I can. So that when I die, at least I'll have the peace of mind of saying, I may have not been perfect, but I did the best I could. So I think this is how karma can really help us connect all of these together, including the fourth one, which is on change and impermanence. Now, the wording that I keep finding is interesting. I will grow different and separate from all that is dear and appealing to me. And yes, there's a sadness to that, right? There will be loss. People will leave. My parents, I think about them. I'm like, well, they're probably the next in line because they're the oldest in my family, right? So the thought of that, or when I lost my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, I mean, yes, of course, there's pain and separation. There's even pain in, I had a little boy that was, oh, mama, mama, mama. Now he's 16. He's like, bye, see you later. It's like, okay. But at the same time, there's a transformation. So not all change is bad. I have a young man. I'm so proud of him. He has his own photography business. So change can be good. It's not doom and gloom. It's some things is like, thank God that changed, right? So change doesn't have to be bad news. The thing is, we can't stop things. Change is the only constant. And this is, well, the whole Dharma is probably about not clinging, not attaching, reducing suffering by not wanting to hit the pause button on the best moments. One thing that has helped me make peace with impermanence is knowing that impermanence doesn't mean things are getting worse. They're changing. They are changing. And even if there's a loss, if we all look at our lives, we probably see a pattern of ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. So in closing, this dense topic that has so much, and we're just introducing it, right? The next month we will chunk it down. Is I would like to invite you to consider each one of these remembrances and add your own version, right? I am of the nature of aging. Yes. Where am I now? How do I want to keep aging, knowing that I don't know how long I will live? But what can I do about it? Yes, I will get sick, and I have been sick. What helps me stay healthy? What helps me cope with illness? Yes, one day I will die, but now I'm alive. What do I want to do with this precious life? Everything will keep changing. Can I kiss the joy as it flies? Like how our dear Bill Morgan reminds us, right? In the words of William Blake. Can I kiss the joy as it flies? Can I savor every moment? And knowing that I'm going to be the heir of my karma, whether it's at the moment of death or in heaven or in the beyond or in a next life, can I really bring more awareness to what I do so that I feel more at peace with my actions? Can I make amends if that's the point? And can I cultivate goodness? So my invitation is, yes, let's make this personal. As a Sangha here at the Daily Sit, we're going to be talking about this for a few weeks or months. So we might as well befriend them and personalize them so that they can help us in our journey. Thank you for your kind attention, everyone. And now we will move into our meditation. Yes. So let's go ahead and stretch, open it up. I have a lot of space here, so I'm going to take advantage of that. Open it up, shake it loose, and stretch. Just doing whatever feels right for your body right now. One thing I've shared often is that Susan Morgan was the one who really taught me that the preliminary practices in this song is to shake and loose and stretch to get the body ready to sit, to shake any excess energy, to feel the vitality of this body. So start choosing your posture, whether it's standing or sitting or laying down. And as you sit, gather yourself, start becoming aware of how your body is making contact with the floor, with the chair. Sense the temperature around you if needed. Grab a layer. And just checking with your body to see if there's any extra supports that you may want for your knees, for your back. And when it feels right, allow your whole being to know that we're about to enter our silent practice together. We're alone in our spaces, but together online. Some of you even have the privilege of having a loved one beside you. So feel the Sangha, feel the sense of community. Allow the heart to gladden and allow the body to settle. Just feel your body, the legs, the feet, allowing them to be as comfortable as possible. And feeling your back, stretching your spine, softening the shoulders, and opening up the chest so that you can breathe freely. Relaxing the belly, allowing your hands to rest on your lap or wherever they feel comfortable. And finally, just finding that nice posture for your head and neck. You may want to just wiggle a little bit as you fine tune your posture. And allow yourself to enjoy the breath of life, the life that you have right now, the relative health that you may have right now, whether it's a lot or a little. It allowed you to be here now. So let's ride the breath, like Bill says, and allow this breathing and this coming together to meditate to calm our nervous system. And remembering to soften, to allow, to welcome it all, and to return to the breath as often as needed. And if the mind wanders into stories, as it may, can we just bring it back to this body breathing, to the miracle of being alive right here, right now, body breathing. And in this last few moments of our practice together, the invitation is to feel your body a little bit more, becoming aware of your feet and your toes, your legs, feeling the density, the length of the legs, any pulsations, feeling your hips, your sitting bones, your pelvis, the area of the belly and the stomach, feeling the expanse of the torso, just sensing the aliveness of the body, little movements, even twitches, and sensing your arms and hands, feeling their aliveness. Then sensing into your shoulders, perhaps inviting a gentle movement, and sensing your head, face, as you become aware of the breath, again, the breath of life. To close our meditation today, in the absence of a bell, I'll invite you to just take 3 breaths at your own pace, making them your own mindfulness bell.